So in this tutorial, we're going to start making the inside pocket, and we're going to add stitching lines to this. So let's just start with it. So what I've done is I've created a square inside, and you can just create this square by just clicking on the rectangle here, and you can start somewhere in the front view. We can just make a small square like this one here. Now I'll make sure that this square is a purple line. So go to the properties panel, go over here, and I'll just change it to lines. So this is my baseline, and if you actually see this in the middle, it's right here. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to duplicate the surface. So here I have locked it. So let's select this, and I'm going to copy this and paste it. So there are two layers here, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'll trim it. So here I have this one, and I've just selected this image, and I'll go over to trim, and I'll click on the surface here. So one of the surfaces I'll select, and this is what I get. So basically I get it on both the sides, but that's okay. And what I can do to this is, first I will just hide the purple line. I do not want to see it, so I'll just hide it. Okay, and now I have this layer, and I have this as well. We'll see what we have to do about this. Probably I want to create a zipper here, so I would be using that. So I'll just take this one right now, and okay, and I'm going to go to the properties panel, and I'm going to change it to, like, suppose this is the pocket layer that I have created. So I'll change this to this line, and another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my control panel, and I'll go over here. Since I've already shifted into a pocket layer, I'll lock the gray layer. I don't even want to see the stitching lines right now. So I'll be just focusing on this one, and I'll be just selecting this and moving this a little in the front like this, so that there is a space in the pocket. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some, I'll just select this, go over here, go to this thickness. I'll be adding some thickness to this. So I will, or probably I can do offset as well. So let's see, we just add thickness, and I'm going to add 1 mm thickness, click enter. So we've added this thickness here. Now I'll just, okay, so I can hide the other ones. I don't want to see. Okay, now I'll be adding stitching lines here. So to add the stitching line, what we can do is I'll copy the edges. I'll duplicate the edges. So here I'll go to curve object and duplicate. We have this duplicate edge. So I'm going to take this edge, select shift, select the second edge, shift, select the third edge, and yeah, so I've taken this, and I'm going to right click or press enter. So since I've already done that, so I'm going to take this curve, shift, select this curve, and shift, select this curve, and Control J, join them. Now, instead of doing offset, there is another trick. What you can do is you can do scale, and we just take this. So I'm doing scale 3D, and I'm just bringing this. If you actually see this in my front view, it's going to come. So this is for adding the stitching line on the sides. I want an edge on here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to duplicate this edge. So select it and press enter or right click, and then I'll just shift this down like this. Now remember, all the edges that we had selected, we are going to shift it to the stitching line, because we will make them disappear when we are doing the rendering. So I'm going to go to the layer section here, to the properties panel, click on object and shift these lines to the stitching line. Okay, now I'm going to add a stitching here. So what I'm going to do is do the same thing. So I'll probably, I can either bring a stitching as well, a stitch as well, or I can make a stitch. So here I've decided to make a stitch. So go to a round curve and just click on here, click here, and just write 1, click enter. Now, before you kind of do the array curve, it is always better to, shift it to the stitch where you had. Okay. So it's not showing at the moment because it's hidden. So I'll bring it here. And now, what I expand this a little, we'll make this elongated a bit. Make this smaller. Make it like this. And do the array curve. Click on the baseline. And 3, that is the gap that we want. Click enter, and we can just make this smaller. Push this smaller like this. Yeah, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stitch line and shift it over here as well. So I will just use the move tool, click here, click here, wait. So I'm going to copy this and paste it, and then use the move tool, shift and shift like this. Now we're going to rotate this. So we're going to have it like this. Okay. And then I'm going to use the same thing. So I'll right click over here and go to array curve and click on the line, and we get a stitch line like this. Okay, so one thing I need to make sure that these lines are coming out. So just need to can just select these center lines, go to control point here, click. So click enter, and just make sure you have the lines out a little bit, and then you try the array curve. So I'll select this one, right click, array curve, and the base point is this one, click. Yeah, so if you see this, so I'll bring this out, see it in the rendered view. So it's gonna come like this, and we can always hide the blue lines. We don't want to see the blue lines. and I can bring the other ones as well. So here I have the stitching lines, and I can just make this one go inside a bit. So we have all these lines going inside, and here you go. There is our inside pocket.